It's quiet in here. I need some music. It cracks me up when I turn the volume down. On the side there's buttons. And I go 1, 2, 3, and it goes 1, 2, 3 to turn the volume. And I stand here and I wait, and the volume doesn't go down.
It doesn't.
I gotta hit it, like keep hitting it, and then it all of a sudden it goes all the way down. Technology is just so fallible, man. It's just, if your stuff works, be happy. Be glad, because it ain't always gonna work, man. There's gonna be advancements in a lot of areas, but there's gonna be a lot of ways this world's gonna be set back here in the next little while. It'll be interesting, Ma.
It will. Yeah. People get in that position and they start fighting and they
We're past that, Ma.
yeah.
We're past that. Well, they're already been done. Oh, I don't like the flashes like that, I don't think. Where's Tucker? He's over there. His head's facing the other way, I think. He's licking his paw. Just makes him anxious.
That is very
There, that's better. Alright, let's do this. Hello, welcome to my tube. My name is Marge. I'm a Heoka empath. I just like having these little talks on the way I feel about things. You alright? Got enough water? Supposed to get snow today, overnight, all day tomorrow, till like this time tomorrow, or something. It hasn't started yet, but the sky all day has been doing real trippy stuff. Up in northern New Mexico. Did I say it? Yeah, I did. Anyway, so it's been an interesting couple days. Really. I was feeling the vibe. Feeling the God vibe yesterday. We woke up and we watched a bunch of movies and they were all about God, and I remember what I was going to say yesterday, and there's a part in one of the movies that says, you know, when sometimes Satan gives people the lives that they want, so that they never have to turn to God. And I look at everything as like a balance. Like those scales they have in Justice. I used to know what they were called because I bought one for my brother. And I shopped for one for a while once he passed his bar exam. Wonder if he still has that. Probably not. Anyway, so it got me to thinking, you know, the balance is that when you know, one of the things I'm trying to do in this life is be the best version of myself that I can be. And I've had a lot of weird stuff happen in the beginning of my life. It caused a lot of hurt, caused a lot of pain, and I turned to a lot of different ways that weren't healthy to make myself feel better, instead of just dealing with the initial pain, so I wouldn't have to use all the vices to make myself feel better. I just feel better because the things that bothered me weren't bothering me anymore. Just seemed like a more viable option. And there's a lot of stuff I've cut out of my life. I used to smoke cigarettes. I haven't done that in 12 years. I was a heavy drinker for a lot of years. Haven't done that in a while. I think my greatest vice these days, I don't even drink like a whole lot of regular coffee much anymore. I gotta drink decaf because I get too wound up. But it had me thinking about the balance, you know, and how many people are living their lives just completely for themselves and all the things they want to do and all the places they want to do. I call it the everyone living the best version of their lives, you know, and that's fine. Go ahead and do that. But as you're doing that in your life, how are you making other people's lives better? Because everybody's going around, I know you're seeing people that freaking need stuff all over the place. I know we can't help everywhere, but if people open up their hearts, man, the stories of kindness and generosity are just are what keep people going, I think, you know? Because a lot of people, it's just like, because there's so many people they're just for themselves. And every time, like, it's like every time you hear a bell, an angel gets its wings. Well, every time somebody's a selfish, greedy bastard, the freaking devil, the freaking hell gets a little bit bigger. You know? Satan, Lucifer, all that stuff, his power grows a little bit stronger. And people, there's more atheists and stuff now. Like, all these famous people, they're all atheists. I mean, all these people that don't believe in the power of God. They believe in themselves and what they can do. And that's what Satan wants people to do. So therefore, he's winning, right? And then I just look around and I see I hear stories all the time. Today I heard a story. That's why I call this talk I heard this story today. I'm like, that right there is the quintessential American. Because I hear more about stuff like this than I do about people freaking. And now that money's getting tight for so many people, like the acts of kindness, it's more of a stretch. But all the false for profits, what I call them, false for profits, they got no problem collecting freaking all kinds of freaking finances. It never goes to what the profit's for. It doesn't. It's ridiculous, absurd. It's all a racket. It's all money laundering. Yeah. It's so goofy. World's getting goofier and goofier all the time. Anyway, so I got this Earth Angel. She's been looking out for me and Mom a couple years. She's been helping us out a lot here and there, so me and Mom can live comfortable without having to freak out and be all stressed out all the time about making ends meet and things like that. Now, I'm not a frivolous person. We've lived within our means. I don't go out and buy a bunch of wasteful stuff. I just like to make sure that everybody has whatever they need. Heck, actually, most money we spend it's on bed. What's the matter? You okay, girl? Why are you crying? It's on veterinary care for these knuckleheads. But she helps a lot of people. She's a very generous woman. She's a very kind woman, very loving woman, and didn't have children in her life. But she's married a number of years, and he passed away a few years ago. And just sometimes you just want to share your time with people. The conviviality, the joy, just being with people and having a good meal is just makes you feel good. And she said that, and so she set it up. She was gonna go take this fella who's a vegetarian out to this restaurant she heard about, and it was a good restaurant. So she was gonna take him, and then it turned into, well, can so and so go? And so yeah, okay. And then something happened, and she couldn't go. And it was supposed to be her and one guy, and it ended up with like 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to say 4 or 5 people, maybe 5 people, right? And she's like, well, that's okay. I'll go ahead and buy lunch anyway. All right? And she wasn't even there. Out of the generosity and kindness of her heart, she was buying lunch for a bunch of people that she wasn't even going to be there because something came up and she had to do something else to get ready for something. And so she was in a time crunch, so she couldn't go to lunch. And sure as shit, these people, and you think, if someone's buying me lunch, I'm not gonna go and look at what the most expensive thing on the menu is. You know what I mean? I don't drink really soda very often and stuff like that, but especially like vegetarian, place. Maybe I get tea, something like that. But I'm not going to spend a lot of money at a vegetarian place. Although there was a restaurant, Modern Love in Omaha. The lady was like a bestseller of vegan Isa or something like that. Vegan cookbook. So it's her restaurant. So you're like paying for her notoriety, And so, but that place was freaking pricey, but it was really good though. I mean, you got like the portions were good. It's probably still open. Anyway, but these these 4 or 5 people go and have lunch. Not one of them sent her if it were me, if I would have gone to lunch and someone else that wasn't there was buying, I would have been sending them pictures. I would have been like, including them best I could without them being there, and not one of those people even freaking called her, text her, let alone called her to thank her for her generosity. And they ran up like a $360 bill too. The nerve of people, man. They just don't got no manners, man. And the one lady that was there, she was like the main, she's known the woman for 40 something years. And and she was just acting like she was a baller, like, oh, it's all right, it's all right. She's got so much in her life, she doesn't care. Just how people use people, man. Satan wins. Every time that shit happens, Satan wins, man. Every single freaking time. It's like the movies The Fifth Element, where the big blackness grows, and they redo it all the time. I mean, the storyline always, if people let their ego consume them, it freaking ego is easing God out, as I understand it. And God, as I understand it, is good orderly direction. That stuff inside you just tells you not to hurt people, cause harm, lie, cheat, steal, sleep around too much, all that stuff, all that chasing sensation stuff. All that stuff. It's just kind of appalling, I'm like, that right there. And she told me that story when they called. I got a text message this morning. She was like, I got the bill for that, and I was like, that's just that is the quintessential American. They just go around, do whatever they want. Everybody, there's so many people have this sense of entitlement, man. It's bizarre. Anyway, Mercury's in retrograde. Technology is super, super goofy. It's goofy for a lot of people. I got a text from my dad last night. It was kind of peculiar. I don't really hear from him very often, but I'd been thinking about him a lot and thought, I need to give him a call anyway. He lost his daughter, my sister. She was just 39, September 23rd, and this is like his first holiday season. Not that any of us have ever been really tight on the holidays anyway, but still, it just sucks. So, so I thought I'd give him a call, and he messaged me last night, and I responded, and then I called him today and left a message and never heard back from him. So maybe he was just feeling good in the moment, and then the moment passed. So, anyway, this guy, I've been tracking the, so most mainstream media stories, like big shootings and stuff like that, most of that stuff I don't follow because it's just like the same mentality. It's a dime a dozen. But I've been tracking this whole Idaho thing for lots of reasons. For the police's, Luna, come over here. The police's Barney Fifedness on the whole thing. All of it. I find it very fascinating as it unravels. And the guy, and what I like hearing about is what he was like when he was younger. And he's got a lot of the markers, a lot of people turn pretty freaking, because Luna, stop. Come here. Come over here. Come over here. Who is that? Who's crying? Benny? Is that you? That is you, Benny. Why are you whining? Come here. Come on. Come on. I'm telling stories. Come on. Just to relax. Come up here on the chair. Come over here. You goofball. Can I finish my story? You need a drink? I'm not letting you out right now. No, come here. Go lie down. Go. You can hold it. I know you can hold it. Tucker can't like you can. Maybe I'll turn that top light on. Turn that off. All right. But this guy I find fascinating because I don't know. I've been picturing. He's like the build that I picture because the people that he got that he stabbed that he killed are they're not real big in stature, you know. But it's a gnarly thing to freaking stab people, you know. I don't even hardly like cutting meat. It creeps me out. You know what I mean? And so what I feel like he did is that they were passed out and then and there's a word for it. I can't remember the word for it. No. It says it's coming up with misandry. What do you call a man who is just it's no, not misogynist, not a chauvinist. There's a word. I just discovered it and I talked about it not too long ago. Incels. It's incel. INCEL. Word is an incel. Is it someone said that they thought it was an incel that did it? And I was like, what the frick is an incel? So I had to look it up. They're involuntary celibates. Dudes that can't freaking get no action because the girls don't like them. Those guys, they hate me. I think that they think because I'm lesbian and, you know, whatever, like I'm just like going out and sleeping with whoever I can. People really have really weird misconceptions about that, things like that. I'm knocking on the door to Prudesville. So and that's what I thought too. I'm like, whoever did that, they hate, they got rage inside of them. They got anger, they got rage, and he was in a place that he didn't even ever think that he was going to go to, because once he started, he couldn't stop himself. And then once he determined that he liked it, that he was good at it, because he was bigger and stronger, you know. But he's a bitch. He's a bitch. I mean, you could hear what kind of a bitch he is as a human being because of the way he talks to people. You can read about that in different things. So you know that these people were passed out, completely incapacitated, just intoxicated, right? They just got their drunken hungaries, went home, passed out, and then chances are he freaking pinned arms at the sides, and then like got him in the chest, stuff like that. So that's what I think about the whole thing. But the guys, I mean, and then I think what I find that is kind of troubling, that's kind of a trip, is how much of the percentage of the population of America are full of men that have had the same backgrounds, and they're just like so close away from snapping, and so many of them already have. They're just like that guy. You know what I mean? And how, because you hear all the stories about he was a regular guy, you never know, you know, didn't, because I've known plenty of people that I would not be surprised if they were freaking serial killers and stuff like that. I think there's more of them out there than people care, because people don't want to, they're so delusional, they don't want to live in a world where all that crazy, scary stuff happens. And that's the only world I've ever known. I was raped when I was a 10-month-old baby. I know what the evil of this world is. It's weird to me that other people don't. They're void of knowing that. So, I don't know. See, we'll see how the guy's a nutcase. He's a nut job. I mean, you could tell, like, I don't know. My whole life I've just have been reading people's energy and sizing them up. The guy's a total psycho, though. But there's so many more out there. I mean, there's people freaking end up missing and dead every day just because people like doing weird, gross shit. And a lot of people are afraid to step up and say, you know what? I think that there's a problem here. You know, there's too many people that have been protecting people that they know have got freaking serious problems, man. Serious problems. But nothing's gonna change until things change. So we're gonna keep getting all the stuff that we get because people are still, you know, they're not coming into their heart yet. They're still living from their egos. I watched this video of this guy today. He just goes around and buys different boats and, like, you know, spends tens and thousands of dollars on these boats and and just has all these, you know, everybody's living but it's like, that's fine, do that. But for every like $20,000, $25,000, you know, like, couldn't there be like a sponsor that, you know, like a family that people could sponsor to like put into a home, you know, or so. There's just too many people that just, and all the systems are so broke there, and they're not even designed to help people anyway. They're designed to give people the least amount. So, dude, I just saw fucking that dumb broad that just left Speaker of the House, gave everybody a raise. They went from 140,000 like a few years ago to 170. Now those people make $212,000 a year. And they're like all tax exempt and stuff. I mean, everything's an exempt. They don't have to pay for their housing. They get housing. It is just the most absurd for 535 people. It is the most ridiculous thing ever. And that's the stuff that they want to stroke the fire just to make people mad, and they just laugh every day because there's like, people can't do anything because if they do try to stand up or even try to protest, they're an enemy to us because we're just doing what is in the best interest of the American people, which is a bunch of bullshit, which is a bunch of frickin' crap. Come on, Todd. Minutes. Come on, good boy. Come on. I'll take you out. Just give me a minute. Just let me finish. Good boy. Good boy. Oh, Artie Pants. It's not even time. Dude, you guys have been out like 5 times today. It's like the weather was nice or something. So they've been all extra, let's go outside and hang out. And I'm like, okay, yeah, it's great. Whoopee, it's fun. Just walk in a circle. Oh my goodness. What's the matter, Benny? What are you looking at? So, all in all, it was a pretty chill day. We just were watching The Kingsman. That's another, that's Benny wanted. It's his, they all drink water at the same time. It's such a trip where everybody's just, their bodies are just on automatic pilot, you know? All of us are. We get tired or hungry at the same time, tired at the same time, wake up at the same time. Well, I don't know. Sleep's been kind of an elusive biatch lately, but it's getting a little bit better. I slept a little bit longer than I did last night. It's just my mom has the big old bed. Benny, get out here. Back in the bedroom, and all the dogs follow me. So like, I'll have like 4 dogs, and I can't be flipping over and stuff like that, because I don't want to, like, because that's how people like kick a dog. It's how they break the teeth and stuff. You got to be careful. And I got old dogs, so Benny, no, you wait a minute. I got one more story. I'm not really a big dater. I don't really date. I never really see girls that I find very... Lay down. Come here. Come here. Come up here. Benny, come up here. Come here. Come here. Just get up here. Benny, get up here. They don't want you over there. Good dog. Thank you. Luna and Tucker are both over there, and they're not in the mood for you. Heifer Pumperdink. It's been, actually, I haven't even liked anybody for like 6-7 years. It was like, it's been a long time. 2016. And then when I moved out, and she lived in Oregon, when I moved out to Omaha, I was planning on moving out to Omaha I mean, from Omaha to Oregon anyway. But we became friends first, and we were friends for a while, and then I was like, wait a minute, do you like me? And she was like, it's kind of weird, but I think you do. I do. And then I ended up moving out there, and then she decided that she didn't, it happens. It just happens. It just happens all the time. I've been like, I don't really dated. I've been more of like an experiment for you know, like I think all the people that I've ever dated, they're all with men now. Even my last girlfriend, like real girlfriend, we dated for 3.5 years. She even identified as a lesbian, and she's with the dude now. So I don't know if anybody. I guess I'm as good as those churches that would turn people heterosexual. And maybe that's a service I could provide for folks, you know. See, and that's what I would tell her. I would tell her stuff like, and you know, and then early on, because I just say the most direct things because that's just how you weed people out, right? And she, I would say that, well, like girls that have always dated girls or guys and that start dating girls, it's not often that they stay dating girls. They oftentimes like to go back to men, especially if they're game players, because it's harder to freaking play games. I mean, it's easier to play games for the chicks, these chicks, to play games with guys than it is with women, with other women, because the other women know all the tricks, so they can't. But a lot of stuff. It's like, wait a minute, you can't pull that. I know what that kind of stuff. But anyway, and I met her through a dog page, OB Dog Journey page. And go girl, come on. I was waiting for you to get up there. And Benny's over there throwing all the blankets around. Every day I put those blankets on that couch chair thing straight, and he always... Anyway. So, go girl. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go girl. Good job.
Good job.
She says, I didn't need your help. I could have done it all by myself. Whatever. She does jump up. She's the only one that can jump up on the bed, and the bed's tall, so she shouldn't have... Well, now she goes up on the stairs. But this chair that she likes to sit on is probably, I don't know, 18 inches. But I don't know, helped her out. But, so, it didn't end very well, and a lot of it was, it had to do with me. She ghosted me, and I didn't take it very well, and I talked about it, full disclosure, on videos back, years ago. I talked all about it, I don't want to get it too far into it now. Because, shoot, God, it was so long ago. Anyway. But I really liked her. I liked her a lot. But, God does for us things that we can't do for ourselves. And she blocked me for, I've been blocked for years. And then, recently... I looked because I know that Nog and Obi are getting up there, and so I looked to see if I could see anything, and then I found out, yeah, they did both passed away, Noggin and Obi, and she got Truman a few years ago, and Truman is one of the top 3 best dogs I've ever met. I call him T, Tiny T, because he's a good dog, man. He's such a good dog for so many reasons. And anyway, so we had a falling out, and she blocked me, and that's fine. And she just unblocked me. And she's not even, I don't know, I got a picture of her, right? Because I sent a picture of her to my Earth Angel. This was back in May 18th, 2016. So this is before I moved to Oregon. And this is okay, she liked me. And then we went to San Francisco We went to That's a terrible picture of me. I'd been traveling all day. I just landed and went and picked up this lady's minivan and then drove it from the Bay Area to I flew from Oregon to the Bay Area and then drove over to where was that? We hiked a mountain up there. Anyway, but it was cool because we had the coolest date. It was like the sweetest date. And we went into the city, into San Francisco, and we went up onto the lookout and took pictures, and it was a full moon, and it was just, it was, I don't know, I haven't really fallen for somebody a whole lot in my life, but I really liked her because I liked her brain. I liked the way she thinks. She thought about stuff. This is back when I was a freaking. This is when we went on a trip in Happy Camp. And this is when I was leaving, and she's like, that's when she said that she was like, I think I might like you back then. And I was like, I didn't even, because I don't ever think of people like me. You know what I mean? That was May 16th, 2015. I don't think in terms of that. Because I'm just so used to people not. So, anyway, I went on my page here. I've often talked about the importance that how much the world is different now, and how important OPSEC is, which is operational security. It's short for operational security. It's Air Force jargon, blah. It means being safe for the task at hand. Okay, that's what operational security, having everything you need, safety route, all that stuff, right? So I'm often talking about here on my channel about how so many people, it's not that world anymore, man. And they get an idea, I'm just going to go hike this trail because people at the office talk about how they've gone and hiked this trail or whatever, okay? So they go and hike the trail. They don't think about, they've been sitting on their couch for years, but they get this wild hair, so they go try this 12-mile hike or whatever. And they figure out, well, real quick that they're not really up for it and whatnot, and it can end badly. Well, Nora... And how important it is that when somebody goes for a hike, that one person on this planet needs to know where you're going, the route you're taking, have proper clothing, and then and so that way, and letting somebody know, okay, you're leaving at this time, I will be back. If you don't hear from me by this time, come look for me. That's how everyone should conduct themselves. Anybody, man, I don't care how big, macho, how good of a hiker, how many miles you have on your feet. I don't care about all that stuff, man. Things happen. So anyway, I don't really like spending too much time in the past. I do get curious. So I looked over at the Obi Dog's page today, and she actually posted a series of pictures, and she told a story, and I don't even really want to talk too much about, because it's, just go read the story, Obi Dog Journeys page, but the gist of it is I'll just say it, I'll save you some time. Shit, ain't nobody gonna do that. Back around Thanksgiving, I guess they were getting a lot of weather out there, and then they finally got a good day of breaking the weather. And so she's like, I'm taking the dogs for a hike, Truman, and then she had just gotten this new dog that she took on to help rehabilitate, because that's what she does. She's a vet tech, and she does animal rehabilitation. She does all kinds of stuff. She's Anyway, she's got it's pretty wild history. Her story is pretty wild of and by itself. So she she took off with the dogs, and it's like a 12-mile loop or something like that. And I just kind of skimmed, because when things get too long, I get bored. I'm not really a reader. I just would rather have somebody tell me the story. Save me, yeah, so. But, that ain't no option. I'm leaving that in history. But, but she went up, and she was telling about how she was like getting the dogs down on some steep parts, and how they were cooperating, and things like that, and some of the one dog's like how because he's a puppy, so he doesn't know how to use his body yet. And Truman's, I don't know, 5, I don't know how old Truman is now, 16, 17, 7. He's like 7 or something like that, but he's a good dog. I mean, he's brilliant too. So, but so and then something happened when she was coming, and she had a headlight on, and it wasn't real bright and stuff, but she was something happened, and she got turned, because she was falling. Instead of her leading the dogs, she let the dogs lead her. And before she knew it, she was off the trail. And she didn't know where the trail was, and it was getting dark. So it's Thanksgiving night. It's getting dark. She wasn't prepared. She wasn't dressed for it. She had like a little, puffy coat on, probably some yoga pant type thing. And evidently, but she told her boyfriend where she was gonna go, so he came looking for her after like 11 hours. He came looking for her, so I guess it's her boyfriend. I'm pretty sure it's probably her boyfriend. But that's the whole reason why that outcome. I mean, it's a cool story. It really is a cool story, because she's exactly why I'm telling people, like, every few months when I think about it, the importance, of letting somebody know where you're. I mean, even when you go to the grocery store, in a lot of places, man, people are getting so desperate. Everything is just, things are just going to get more and more wacky, because people are getting desperate. They're like, backed in a corner. They're just going to take what they want, And unless you're willing to freaking fight them off, or just give it to them, whatever the choice is, the world is not the same place it was just a very short time ago. And unless people start living more from their heart and less from their ego, we're going to keep getting what we got. So it's about all I got for now. Hope you have a rad day. Peace. I didn't even see if there's anybody. Ooh, let me see. Let me not. Hi, Skywalker. It's true. You're right. Be kind. I came in to say hi. Thanks for stopping by and saying hi. Yeah, there's so many people, because they don't listen to their voice. It's gonna get crazy. So hey, if anybody wants to come out once the weather starts getting nice, now it's the next step in how I want to see my future. Is I would love, they're redoing, like, where I live in Taos, New Mexico. It's a real touristy place, and everybody's doing conventions and stuff like that. And I thought it one day it'd be kind of cool to put on a truth speaking panel, like people that are just truth speakers, that have found their own truth, have their own niche in this life, and just come and listen and talk about their experience, strength, and hope, and raise some money, and then go and give it to people on the street, or put them in a house, or get them hotel rooms, or do whatever. We don't get to choose how we help people. We just got to help people. That's all, that's the big thing of it. And my panel would be like, I would ask Zach to come. I would ask him to come. I would ask Key Jin to come. I would probably ask maybe a couple of astrologers and see if they would come and share their interpretations on stuff. I would invite the Space Observer Ben if he wanted to come and come out and talk about, the poles flipping between 2030 and 2040. Yeah, I'd invite him if he wanted to. Just have all these different people come out and just I'm a pretty good networker. I'm good at sharing my experience, strength, and hope and stuff like that, and teaching. But how many people don't want to learn? Because they're real good at getting by. I mean, there's a lot of people out there because of the, you got people that they come up with 50, 60, get in a car accident, something like that. They come $50,000, $60,000, and then they're good with food forever. Or not food forever, but they don't got to work for a couple of years. So you got all these people that got all this extra money, and they just discover they don't like to work, and they're not gonna. But that's fine if you want to do that. But you still gotta produce stuff in society. Otherwise, you're just a drain. So it's important that people really figure out what they like doing. If you like gardening, go work on a farm. If you like, it's the great everybody's quitting their job. This is what I did back in 2016, but that was also determined when I needed to be a stay-at-home daughter, because I was sharing with that today with my friend about how, I'd go outside and go for a job interview and after we moved to Oregon, and I'd be gone for like 3-4 hours, and I'd make mom a sandwich or something, or make her something to eat, and when I came back, whatever I made her was still exactly where I left it. And mom had a stroke when she was 38, for those that don't know. So she's had a traumatic head injury and brain injury, and both of my parents did. So that's another life lesson I learned a long time ago, is you don't always get the same people that you start out with. And that really changes people when they get knocked in the head. Trauma changes people. There's so many circumstances in this life that just change people. And the whole world is just because most of the world just hasn't had anything terribly awful happen to them, so they can't comprehend. So everybody else just has to suck it up and act like la la la, everything, nothing bad has ever happened. That creates a cognitive dissonance that just isn't natural. Just because people don't want to accept the reality of the world, how it really is, if there's a lot of vulgarity and darkness and grossness, more than there should have ever been allowed to be, whether it's lizard people or aliens or whatever. But I think at the same time, I see all this stuff about how China should not be allowed to buy land in America. Okay, well then why are Americans selling out to them? It's the people that are selling out. Everybody has free will. But the will that so many people they want to live their life in is directed toward money and all this property, prestige, all this stuff you can't take with you, which gets us back to Satan winning.